Howdy folks, we've got another good one for you. You guys might remember my 1959 F-100 that I rescued earlier this summer. Well, we're going to attempt to revive this thing today, and Backyard Alaskan came up to visit, so it's bound and determined to be a good time. First things first, I mean, you got to take all the sights, you know. So somebody removed the hood latch, so she's got the old Jeep mod. Classy 16-inch wheels, typical fender rust. The patina on this thing is top-notch, though. Funny enough, being a 59, this is the first year for a factory Ford four-wheel drive pickup. It's a half-ton and a custom cab, so they went all out. This thing is uptown for its day. Being a custom cab, she's got the sassy two-tone interior, the big horn ring on the steering wheel, all the chrome odds and ends and doodads and whatnot. You know, she's missing a few odds and ends. I actually have that gauge bezel. A mountain of starters and generators over there. That's always good. You want that. I have my hood badge that I'm missing. A little bit of rot in her, but, you know, you're fixing to have that. I think the seat's out of a Lincoln or a something or other, you know.
You want that plush comfort.
Oh, it's comfier than all get out, but like I can barely fit in between the steering wheel and the seat, and I'm a very small person, so you know somebody was classy when they were drinking the hams.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
It's even got fuses.
spare fuses.
Yeah.
Like 3 radiator caps. I got my spare parts in there. Getting around. It's got a locking gas cap that I can't get off, so that's always good. 8,000 gross, so she's a heavy hauler. A few bumps and bruises here and there, a couple repaints, you know, the typical stuff. This big old bumper, though, I don't know what you were towing with a half-ton with that bumper, but they meant business. I've got a myriad of odds and ends back here to include my air compressor, a hood that isn't mine, the radiator for this truck, and all the goodies. This thing did have a camper or topper of sorts on her. Working around. Eventually we'll get this thing all cleaned up, get all the moss off of it. Sounds like a job for Cole. So this thing's got a Dana 44 front axle, a 9-inch rear axle, and I'm pretty sure it's a Dana 24 transfer case. So she's pretty well set up like a highboy would have been, except with half-ton axles, of course. Custom cab, she's got the real nice chrome grille. Oh, these fridge Fords really make you work for it to get under the hood. Now here's where the real fun begins, because some things are missing. We don't have the radiator, the fan, a belt, the starter, or the generator. So we're going to have to figure out, A, why somebody took all this stuff off, and B, if I actually have everything for it. I've got a few starters, and I've got a couple generators, and I actually have parts that I can scab together. So hopefully we can get her all back together, and hopefully this thing runs. It does have the old Autolite carb on it. And it's a D9, so it's a 1979 carb on there. It's kind of working. Here a couple weeks ago, I went ahead and poured brake fluid in the Brake Master reservoir and the Clutch Master reservoir, hoping that this thing will kind of gravity bleed so we don't have to fight that too much, because, well, I hate hydraulic clutches and they're always a pain in the butt. So, yeah, I think we're going to get to her here. First things first, I think we'll dump a little ATF in the cylinders and figure out if I actually have a functional starter and figure out how to wire the starter in there. So, well, we can look at what all I've got. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to talk to anybody or get any story on this truck and why it was parked, so we're just kind of shooting in the dark and hoping that, you know, something catastrophically isn't wrong with that engine. So, I've got 3 starters here. 2 of them were in the truck when I got it, 1 more that I found later on, so I don't know which is which, except for this one was definitely in here. And you can see it's got a reman tag on it, so, I mean, it was a new starter at one point, so that's my bet that I'm going to say that's probably the good one. So I'm going to throw this thing on the bench and test it out, and we'll see if we can throw it in there and get this girl cranking over. I did throw a wrench on it when I first got it. The engine's not seized, so there's no drama attached with that, but you know, away she goes. Looks like we got a good starter. We'll have to see if I have bolts for it now. Alrighty, well, fortunately enough, we've actually got this Y block here. This guy's an industrial engine that is kicking around here in the yard, and I got permission to steal odds and ends off of it. So, yeah, so I'm going to steal the bolts out of the starter off of this thing, and probably battery cables, because, well, they're here and I can grab them. I don't remember what's on that other engine. If we get that other one firing off, we'll need these brackets for the generator. There's the generator there. I need the fan as well, and a couple other little odds and ends. So it's always good to have a spare engine kicking around with all the little odds and ends you need. Well, I got 2 out of 3 bolts off that starter, which is close enough. I can find another one in the shop that matches these two. And while I've been pulling parts off that Y block, Austin's been down here pulling the plugs out of the old 292 and the 59 here so we can oil up them cylinders. Alrighty, Austin got all the cylinders oiled. I was trying to stab the starter, but I think the Bendix was all wrong, so we're conducting all kinds of science over here. I employed the master starter rebuilder over there to reassemble that. So hopefully we'll have a starter that will fit and we can bolt it in, and it should work. I guess we'll just have to see here. Alrighty, Austin got the starter put on. I was putting points in the distributor. We got a battery thrown in here. I think we're about ready to see if there's any life in this thing.
Fairly close.
Just nice. A few clicky clickies to bring that solenoid back around. Well, she spins over. My battery's probably weak because dump batteries, but not too shabby. I think I still need to set the points and then I don't know, hook up ignition. Alrighty, we're just getting ready to put the plugs back in. We blew all the oil out of the cylinders by cranking this thing over. I got the points put together, got the gap set. For whatever reason, the ignition's just on, so that works, I guess. We won't have a way to shut it off, but we know it's on. So yeah, everything's working out pretty neat. And we even found a couple cassette tapes in the truck here and threw them in the old shop cassette player. And whoever was rocking this truck, they were cranking some pretty decent tunes. We've got like hippie music and I don't know, some like folk tune nonsense going on. So that's pretty cool. Alrighty, we're all done listening to the hippie tunes. We're ready to see if this thing will run. Funny enough, the old accelerator pump even works, and it's not even leaking yet, so this truck's too mint. Well, Austin, you want to hook up the battery, see if we got anything? I don't know if I mentioned it already, but the ignition is just kind of on cruise control, so.
Did you tell him that the brakes even work?
Oh, yeah. So last week, I went ahead and absolutely maimed the caps on both of the reservoirs there and filled them up with brake fluid so that hopefully we'd have a clutch and hopefully we'd have brakes. And the clutch hasn't come around yet, but we have brakes. The pedal pumped up. It's not leaking out anywhere that we could see. Like, we actually have stopping power. So that's kind of a first. This truck's just mint. I reckon we'll see if she'll run now and see how mint it is.
Are we ready?
I do believe we are ready.
All right.
This thing's just gonna idle right now.
She wants to go.
If the starter will work.
Yeah. Wants to kick out every time.
It's already smoking.
Yeah.
Come on. Go for it. My battery might be dead. All right, give her.
Ready fuel, make it happen, or
Yep, give her. The shit for the viewers.
The viewers.
Give her. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Oh, you gotta stay running now.
Oh yeah, she's nice and ripe.
Right? Alrighty, well you guys just heard this thing run. Thing sounds magnificent actually. So what we ended up doing is pulled the carb off and resealed it. It had a huge vacuum leak in the rear, so this thing didn't want to stay running. But also what we didn't realize is that this thing only had ignition power when it was cranking. So as soon as you took the, as soon as you removed the starter, it lost its power to the ignition. So we ran a jumper wire, and that's what you guys just saw. We literally ran the jumper wire, Austin touched the starter, and this thing lit right off, idled just fine. I had a look inside at the oil pressure gauge that's under the dash, and this thing was making like 50 pounds of oil pressure. So yeah, this thing is absolutely mint. Runs great, so all we need now is a fuel system and a cooling system. You can already see the cooling system part is happening. I picked up this rad from another 59 that was in the same yard as this truck, and so we're throwing this thing in here. We just got to figure out hoses and whatnot, and we'll be mint to go. Alrighty, we're back at it again. It's a fresh morning, so we're gonna get to work here. I still need to put the lower rad hose on, but the first thing that I jumped on this morning, never mind, my the old voice box took a pounding last night. Holy cow. I drilled out the ignition cylinder, the old one, pulled this guy out of here. Good old Rock Auto, if you guys can actually see that. Good old Rock Auto came in handy. So we've got a new key set up. Of course, when I got this truck, I didn't have any keys or anything with it, unfortunately. Those had long been lost, so away she goes. But I got a new lock cylinder to throw in here, so we'll have a key, and so hopefully we'll be able to control the ignition from in the truck, and we won't have to run a jumper wire to the coil anymore. And then pretty much all we need then is a fuel system and to top off the rad. So I don't think I was, well, I don't think I filmed how excited I was yesterday that this thing just fired right up there. This thing runs really nice. Had 50 pounds of oil pressure on the gauge. I am elated. I'm super happy with that. I didn't really want to rebuild this. I kind of want to rebuild a Y block just to see the insides of them, but I didn't really want to rebuild this one. So, and it's just amazing this thing runs so nice. So, yeah, we'll get the fuel system thrown together. We'll get the cooling system thrown together, and I reckon we'll take her for a spin around the yard. Alrighty, we've been busy. Do you want to show everybody the handiwork on the generator?
Well, it's a custom, highly adjustable tensioner.
Yeah, so I thought I had the right generator for this, and that's very much so not the right generator. Austin, where's the right generator for this?
I can't imagine where that went. Yep.
Yeah, it's on the Austin's 38 now because I didn't realize this didn't have a generator on it, but that's all right. I'll probably have to get a new generator anyways, so I'm not too worried about that. But we got her on there, got the belt tensioned. I need the fan spacer so the fan doesn't hit this hose. So we're just gonna run her without it. We got to top her off with some water. We got fuel line run, and yeah, based on the way it ran yesterday, that carburetor's just fine because it ran off just the carburetor for, I don't know, 30 seconds.
Quite a bit.
So yeah, we'll just top her off with water, stick a fuel line into a gas can, and well, hopefully that mechanical pump's still kicking. But yeah, things coming right back around. Well, she should fire up, and if the mechanical fuel pump's still functional, it should pick up fuel out of the gas can there, so I reckon we'll just see.
Yeah.
Cool. Take two. We think it's only getting ignition power when it's cranking. So as soon as you let off the key, that's why it keeps dying. Hopefully. Oh yeah, and my solder job on the bottom of the rad is leaking, so yeah, that's cool.
We'll just keep her topped up.
Yeah, you just keep water in it. If it leaks it all out, I won't have to put any green stuff in it to keep it from freezing up over the winter, so, you know, I win either way.
There's pros and cons, yeah.
Exactly. Well, let's see if she'll fire up now. Fuel pump not pumping?
Not yet, nope. Don't think so.
We can give her another shot.
Yeah. Primer up again.
I guess I don't need to turn the key off since
Yeah.
it doesn't control the coil. Alrighty, well, thing runs absolutely mint. This thing's a peach. We're going to try and see if she'll move now. This thing has a hydraulic clutch, which I'm not very fond of, but Austin and I just bled it out. And it seems to move pretty good, although if you put the transmission in gear and push the clutch in, I can't spin the drive shaft. So I'm not sure. I don't know, but yeah, I reckon we'll just see if we can get her to click into gear here or not. So we hook up the coil wire. For whatever reason, this thing only gets coil power when it's cranking. So, well, I guess I shouldn't. That's our only way of shutting it off, so I shouldn't.
Yeah.
I shouldn't jam it in there too good.
Is this up to regulations for race truck purposes?
Well, that's so you don't get run into. People will see that and
Yeah.
purposefully not run into you. Well, let's see if she'll...
You can't argue with that.
No, this Y block is mint.
Yeah.
I guess the clutch was just stuck a little bit, sort of rusted up to the flywheel, and it just needed to pop itself free. It's kind of what I was thinking, but oil change, and let's go for a rip.
Sweet.
Alrighty, well, I got the oil draining out of this thing. Obviously, she's an absolute peach, and I don't want to keep all that old oil in there because I filled the engine with diesel when I first got this thing, and so, you know, the oil got pretty thinned out with diesel, so we'll give her a change, give her some 1540, some good old zinc additive. This old Y block will love that. Funny enough, my terrible solder job down there on the rad was leaking. It seems to have stopped, so this truck is just like self-healing. So I'm gonna work on cleaning out the old interior here. Maybe give this thing the old spit shine. Thing's absolutely gorgeous. Like, everything will come back around in here. It just, you know, she's all dusty and dirty and whatnot. So yeah, that's what I'm up to. Clean out everything from around, behind, and under the seat. And yeah, well, I just threw out the old seat cover. You can see it left all kinds of fun dust here, but that answers my question. The old seat's out of a General Motors product. It's not bolted down or anything. I'll probably end up throwing in a closer to stock bench seat. This one's pretty tight in here, but I don't know. We'll see. Well, it's time to go for a drive. You want to hook up the ignition?
Sure.
We'll batten the hatch and I guess just
See what kind of trouble we can get in?
yeah, just go for a cruise. The hood weighs a ton. I don't think it's going to blow up. I haven't cleaned all the leaves out of here. And this thing runs smooth. The brake pedals came back around. Oh. You're gonna want too high.
Yeah. Must have lost.
Huh, it just stalled. It's not very good throttle control. Are we losing fuel? Well, we lost the ignition that time.
Yeah.
Man, this was too easy.
Yeah.
This thing drives like a peach.
Thing's ready to hit the road.
Right? A few more odds and ends and we'll be dailying this thing.
Right?
Good old Y block exhaust leaks and everything.
Yeah. Makes an FE look good.
Right? Stupid crossover nonsense.
I can't believe that clutch came back around.
Right? A little bit of wrenching and that thing was mint. Alrighty, well the truck runs and drives like an absolute dream, except you could see that it was kind of, you know, danger zoning itself because the throttle spring's too weak, so it just kind of goes full throttle. So we're up in the old parts stash looking for a throttle return spring that's stiffer so we can have a little bit of finesse with the old throttle pedal. Nope. I'll keep looking. Lost in the old 59, she's a liver, I tell you what.
Sure is.
Thing runs strong. The throttle return spring's all kinds of bunged up, and I'm not really a fan of the throttle, but the old 292 is mint. We did get this thing a little toasty, but I think she's cooling down.
It's not to 38 Chevy levels.
Yeah, it's not nuclear meltdown quite yet, so I'll have to come up a little later and put some of the green coolant in here so she doesn't freeze up over the winter, and man. Vacuumed out the interior. This thing is plush. Absolutely mint. Well, I reckon that'll do it for this time. We got the old 59 running and driving. It was an absolute blast. This thing's absolutely mint. I cannot wait to drive it down the road and put some miles on her. I'll have to drive this down to your neck of the woods so we can do a revival with the revivals.
Oh, that'd be fun.
That would be neat.
Yeah. We need to road trip the revivals out somewhere.
Revival road trip, yeah. You could do the 38 and the 59.
Yeah.
That would be mint. Well, anyways, until next time, you guys will be seeing more of this truck in the future. And, well, as you know, I'm always up to some kind of dumb shenanigans, so well, we'll catch you guys on the next one.